Welcome to Petrolheads London. I'm here with the Polo, super mini test as I'm calling it. Great little car, but there's some things I'm not so sure about, and I think there's some other cars you would want to look at, and there are some to come on this channel that I'm going to be reviewing. But I thought we'd have a quick look at it. Volkswagen's always had a reputation for kind of like being the go-to car. You know, when I bought we had a Golf GT, and I bought that because, like their advert said, every car we looked at, we kept saying, well, it's not quite a Golf, is it? I'm not sure this lives up to that kind of level of, well, driver's car, if I'm honest, and enjoyability. Let's get on with it, have a look round, tell you a bit more about what I love and hate about this car. I must say, my first impressions about this car aren't great, and I usually love VWs, but this thing, I'm struggling to get on with it, if I'm honest. Visibility feels a bit poor. It's a really small car, but yet it feels much bigger than it actually is. It has a horrendous turning circle, but there are some positive points. Now, we're here in Italy, so the best place to test a small mini or super mini is probably the small twisting country roads of Italy, but also we're near the beautiful town of Lucca, which has very small twisty roads, and I took this car into there yesterday, and that's where I kind of discovered that the turning circle was a little bit on the poor side. So on the plus side, this car is a 1 litre TSI, and it packs a fair punch. It feels pretty responsive and pretty sporty, and inside is relatively well appointed, so it's got sort of full infotainment system, parking sensors beyond belief, which you need because on this particular one, I don't know whether it's just this one, but this rear view mirror looks like something out of a Greek taxi. The magnification on it is just ridiculous. The side mirrors are really small, and I just really struggle to get a good feeling around the kind of sense of the edges of this car. And for a car like this, where you're going to be driving it a lot in town, it seems like something really important, and especially with the way the Italians drive. As you'd expect on a VW, the build quality is pretty damn good. Being quite a basic car, this has got a shed load of plastic everywhere, no leather seats in it, which is, you know, fine, and actually leather technically is probably worse in hotter countries. Air conditioning works very well. As I said, it kind of cruises along on motorways quite well, and round the side roads it's felt really responsive. But for me, it's kind of just the overall feel for me has been, well, not positive, if I'm honest, especially compared to some of the other super minis out there. They've got a lot of competition with the new Audi Q2, the Mini and its like massive range, super scooters with acro pipes on. As I said, it's kind of packed with oodles of features. It's got a lovely clear display, Apple Play built in, there's USB chargers, all that kind of good stuff that you expect for probably the teenager stealing this car off his mum after he's passed his test. And it holds the road well, you know, it actually drives quite nicely. So despite all my kind of gut feel of not liking the way it is, it does actually sit on the road quite well. There's not a huge amount of roll. You can have a bit of fun with it like you would with any other sort of hatchback in this class. There's a decent amount of room in the back. You can get 2 adults sat in there, or 5 mates from your college days probably all rammed in. A decent sized boot, and we'll have a look around on the outside of it. This one doesn't come with any bells and whistles on the outside either, so hubcaps, very 1980s, no alloy wheels, but I suppose saves you the chance of scrubbing those on the curb. No sunroof. I think that's an option on this car anyway. But would I buy this over a Mini? Now, I'm not a massive Mini fan, and I am going to do a review on that, but I like VW, and I think the Germans build great cars, although to be fair, they build the BMW build the Mini now. But I just really struggle to think that this is a great contender. Maybe I've just not driven enough of the super minis to kind of understand where it sits. But as you can see, look, nice tight corners, really holding, not a lot of roll on it. So one of the things we've noticed in this car over the last couple of days, whether that's me or the car, is the clutch on it feels a little bit bitey. So actually it feels a bit jerky, and because it's got this kind of like tuned up 1 litre TSI engine, it feels a bit jerky when you're on and off the power. It doesn't give that smooth power delivery that you'd expect of a slightly bigger engine. I know it's VW's thing to give these turbocharged engines and use those to make them more efficient, but I think that sacrifices some of the, well, quality of the ride and the smoothness of it. And that's mainly from the accelerator side. The rest of it, suspension feels great, and you know, it's a pretty firm ride, but it's not uncomfortable. The other thing for me is the center console where your right leg rests, and it rests just right for me, right on the knee bone, and it's just, well, a bit uncomfortable. It just, this big hard bit of plastic resting against your leg doesn't feel very good. Welcome to the interior of the Polo. Now, I've always been a big fan of VWs, and this, well, this has kind of let me down a bit, if I'm honest. It's all quite plastic. The steering wheel's really nice, by the way. Actually, really nice steering wheel. Very sporty steering wheel. I actually almost prefer this to the one that I have in my F-Type. Lots of buttons and stuff in here. This is all a bit plastic, but yeah, it's a really nice, like, nice leather on it. Really well bound. Like, actually, that's a plus. Sort of full infotainment system here. Let's turn that off. So lots of gizmos and stuff on here. No sat nav on here though, but they often take that out because this is a hire car as an option. Overall, pretty nice, sort of comfortable car inside, but I said there's a few kind of things I would, you know, change around it. So let's have a quick swivel around. This one has got the cloth seats options and sort of good space in the back, as you will see. We are in Italy, so there's always lots of beeping horns. Let's have a quick look around the outside. Full electric windows. Oh, that was another thing I was going to talk to you about. So look, this is the dial for the wing mirrors. Up and down, left and right. It doesn't really seem to correlate for some reason with in and out and up and down. Maybe I'm just being stupid, but yeah. Oh, and no auto lights. So just like silly little features that you don't have. An amount of space in the back. Let's try and get the light to adjust. Yeah, pretty good. I mean, I'm not particularly tall, but I've got the seat quite far back, so there's a lot of space in there. I mean, to be honest, this is like old Golfs were in the day when I had them. Nice spacious boot. For watching Petrolheads London, for looking at my review of the Polo. I hope you found this useful and sort of a good insight. Please remember to add comments below. Remember to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching Petrolheads London. Cheers.